back. We are back. So this class is your second coding class. So I'm expecting everybody to be able to archive this with no issues. So remember your 6 o'clock class. I have to do the class in the morning. Okay, it won't be, like early morning. No, it'd be like mid morning, like now, because after these 2 classes, I gotta go out. So, okay, I'm putting the link up there. The link for the class. Um, and like I said, some of you who don't have that book, I'm about to put that link up there. All right. And again, this is also your Q&A session as well. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you come at me. So remember I said that I'm out of town. All right. So I'm working and on vacation at the same time. If you do not get me on YouTube, make sure that you send me a chat, discussion board, some kind of way. All right. Some of you who are in Sapphire, I'm getting y'all chats. I'm getting, your connection or whatever you need. If I don't get back to you right away, I will get back to you. Those of you who are on YouTube, same thing. I mean, you could always send me a message and I'll get back to you. Okay. I'm going to be out of town for about 3 weeks. So I will fit your chats in. Trust me, I will fit your chats in. As I'm out of town and I'm kind of like working, I'm getting like emails from providers. Now, this has nothing to do with me being out already. This is something separate. And I'm trying to conquer that and trying to get a new plan on how we're going to conquer those type of things. Okay. This class is the second class to your ICD-10. Okay. Let's put that book up there because that is what we are working in. Okay. We just finished medical terminology. If there is something that you need to go over regarding medical terminology, we will do it. Okay. Send me a discussion board. Now, again, here's a book. That's a Kindle sample, which will give you a lot of pages. Okay. You want to click the link below or click the link on the side. Okay. So we did get through the guidelines, which I'm hoping, I'm pulling them up in a different book. I'm hoping that you were able to read those guidelines at least twice because I haven't been on in a couple of days. So I'm hoping that you were. In this session, I'm in the ICD-10 book, and this is actually from the Kindle. Okay. Mine is going to be a little bit different, but I backtracked on this because I want you to see the beginning of the book. This is how you're going to start learning ICD-10. People go to college, people go to trainings, they are taught what they know. You reading the material and learning what you need to do is no different from somebody going to a college because we are putting you in the right place without getting a student loan. This is how you start to learn ICD-10. ICD-10 coding is International Classification of Diseases. We went over that in the last class. This is how you identify a patient's disease. This is how you identify the patient's primary complaint. This is how you identify what's wrong with the patient. Okay. The patient will tell you what's wrong. I'm talking as if you were a doctor, but you guys know what I mean. The patient comes in with his own pre-diagnosis. This is what's bothering me. This is how I feel. Okay. To find those diagnoses, this is where you go. So I'm presuming that everyone has their book. If you are doing ebook, you can split your screen if you want a laptop. If you are on your phone, you can minimize your screen and have me in the corner. And then the rest of this will be your book. Okay. If you are archiving this and you're at home on your laptop, which I prefer so that you could see on the screen, now you will have your book open, your pen, your index cards, everything you need, just as if you was in, a classroom. Just as if you were in a classroom. If you don't have a table, go to Home Depot and make one. Get the 2x4s, I don't care what they are, 2x8s, and get you a 5x4 for $5, 2x8 legs. Get the glue, stick them on, and then you got your desk. Okay. Now you got your desk. You could hire up and you get XYZ. You can go ahead and buy your desk for $300. But that's your quick fix right there. Okay, that's your quick fix if you don't have a desk, because you have to have an area to study. You have to have, an area to, retain what you're doing. Okay, now you can have your chair when you come home and you put your feet up and you kind of do your reading. But when you start doing your practicing in XYZ, you're going to want to have that desk. Okay, so we are now just kind of going through the ICD-10 book, which we have already went through. I'm just kind of backtracking a little bit. I can tell right now that last class, that class that you guys have at 1:40, I'm gonna push that class to 2 o'clock. Okay, so again, from the beginning of this book, which we have already read, the complete official code book of the ICD-10-CM. Okay, I'm just smashing through, same thing that we did last week for a second. It's pretty much telling you about the administrators who had a hand in this book and the development of this book. So you guys should have already read this. This is telling us what's in the book. Okay, this is telling us what's in the book and what we are going to do in the book. I'm just kind of backtracking just to kind of put us all in the same place in case we have new students that will archive this. Okay, how to use ICD-10-CM. Okay, introduction. What's new for 2025? Conversion table. 10 step to correct coding. This is your most important before you even start coding. That's the reason why I want you to read this thing 3 times, at least 3 to 5 times. So from the time we last did this class to now, you should have read this a few times, okay? Official ICD-10-CM coding guidelines for coding and reporting. This is your test right here. This is your test right here. This isn't here. Okay, this isn't here. Do not sleep on this. 10 times. I don't care how many times you read it. More than 3. That's what I want. Reporting, your indexes. Okay, and they're going to give you all of them from here. Okay, index to diseases and injury, neoplasm table, table of drugs, external causes, index. Did you fall? Did you have a gas leak? Did you get hit by a car? Okay, here, I hope you got your books, even if you have a hard copy. These are the series that you're going to deal with. Okay, chapter 3, disease of blood. Why did I skip them? Chapter 1, I'm backtracking. Chapter 1, certain infectious and parasitic diseases. Okay, so again, your guidelines section is going to be about 3 chapters. Okay, it's going to be about 3 chapters. I'm saying chapters. It's going to be 3 sessions. So you need to know This is your guidelines now. We're not talking about the tabular list and the index. I want you to read this inside that guidelines. Okay? Because remember, there's 3 parts to the guidelines. Certain infectious and parasitic diseases. Code A00 to B99. Okay, U07.1, U09.9. Okay, chapter 2, your neoplasms. Your diagnostic codes will be from COO00 to D49. Now, you can look in your book while we're doing this, even if you have your physical book, you can look up those sections if you want to. Okay? But I prefer you look at them when we finish with the course today. Look them up so you can see what they look like, even though we're getting to that. But some of you like to move ahead. Some of you are already ahead. For chapter 1, go look at this chapter. Okay, go look at the neoplasm if you want to. We're getting to that, but some of you, like I said, are already ahead. Okay, and we are just pretty much going over what we're doing in the ICD-10. Your directive last class was to read these guidelines that I'm going over right now. Okay, and again, this is the ICD-10 book from Kendall. Chapter 3, diseases of the blood and blood-forming organs and certain disorders involving the immune mechanism. Codes from D50 to D89. Okay, I'm not going to click on them because I want you to see what we're going to go over. And everything that you see here is in the Sapphire Academy. Okay, endocrine, nutritional, and metabolic diseases. Okay, codes. This is chapter 4, y'all. Codes E00 to E89. Go look at those codes while we're doing this. Chapter 5, you will go over mental, behavioral, and neurodevelopmental disorders. F01, F99. What possibly can fall under that? Chapter 5. What can fall under chapter 5? If you look under somebody who's smoking, now, don't be surprised, but people who smoke, okay, now don't scream at me. People who smoke, it's kind of like a mental thing where they need to smoke. I would justify that because it is in the mental section of the coding book. It is an F code. Let me show you. Let's go back. Let me show you that. You see this section right here? Mental, behavioral, and neurodevelopmental disorders. Your diagnostic codes. I'm not going to say Gnostic because I'm getting confused with the Gnostic. It's Gnosis, okay? Y'all know I'm getting confused. But F codes are mental codes. Some people say, I need a cigarette to calm down. Here, take a cigarette, it'll calm you down. And, sometimes the old folks say that. And as you can see, the justification that cigarettes is a mental thing, right? Eating disorders is mental. The Ozempic is mental. It's telling your mind that I'm not going to eat that. I'm not going to so and so. We're not going to go on that whole thing that I just saw on one of my YouTube channels of people kind of withdrawing from Ozempic. I don't know about all that extra stuff, but you do have like a certain type of withdrawal when you come down off of the Ozempic. Those of you who just came in, we talked about chapter 5 and smoking cigarettes in the mental section. The code for smoking is in the mental section. It's in the F section. I'm sorry. And we're talking about Ozempic. Look at me getting it all over myself. Okay, so just be precarious to that. All right. People start talking about smoking. It does calm you down. And yes, it is in the mental section of your book. It's right here. And we just went over psych. If you want to kind of go over psych and go over chapter 5 together. See how it combines. See how it combines. But yeah, we're talking about those codes that are mental codes. Okay. So let's finish going through this. Um, 6 is diseases of the nervous system. Your code is G00 through G99. 8, disease of the ear and mastoid process. Mastoid. Disease of the circulatory system. Your ear mastoid is age 60 to age 95. Okay. Disease of circulatory system. I00, I99. Disease of the respiratory system. Okay. That's chapter 10, J00, J99. Now, these J codes, let me hit this real quick. I want to talk about the J codes real quick because these J codes, what are they? Are different from the J codes that you're going to see in the Hicks-Picks book. When we go over those codes, they were different. Okay? They're going to pertain to drugs. Okay? So this one is pertaining to chapter 10. Okay? So your next one, disease of the digestive system. We love this one because I like to put this one with this one. Why, Miss Lambert? Because that's when we start talking about Ozempic, smoking cigarettes, the mind of the weight gain. Okay, the mind of the weight gain. So we put chapter 11 with chapter 5. So you ask me, is it a withdrawal coming from Ozempic? Of course it is. Of course it is. There are some people who are not taking Ozempic, but like I said, those drugs tell your mind what you're not going to eat. Okay, tell you Ozempic, I don't care out of any one of those drugs. Ozempic is the strongest one. You're not eating the best of the best that you used to eat. Trust me. You're not. Y'all know my Ozempic story, but it's not just me. Now you see people putting out YouTubes and stuff about the Ozempic and how people have abused it, and they're just looking scary, messing around with the Ozempic. The Ozempic is generally for people with diabetes to come down and lose weight so that they can come off the diabetes drugs. It's all in the mind. It messes with your mind. Okay. Does it make you feel tired and sluggish? Yeah, of course it does. You're not yourself. You ain't gonna be your old chipper bumping and moving around yourself. Once you come off of that Ozempic, you're done. You got to start all over and get yourself back on track. Okay. Now I ain't saying it don't work. Y'all know I ain't saying that. I think I went down like 60 something pounds. But once I came off of it, most of the weight came back. Okay. But y'all know I'm a candy eater anyway. But anyway, chapter 11 with 5. 12, disease of the skin, subcutaneous tissue. Okay. Disease of the skin and subcutaneous tissue. Okay. So you'll know to check this one out. The diabetes is in there, the digestive. Okay. So right now we're just kind of going over what you will be doing and some of the diagnosis codes. Still want you to kind of peek into some of these diagnosis codes. I will not do word for word, but I want you to. Okay, so chapter 13, disease of the musculoskeletal system. And if you guys remember what I said, the language of medicine book will be complicit with this, with your ICD-10. Every book is in the same format, even if it is differently coordinated. You remember language of medicine that we went over? Remember, when we did language of medicine, what did we do, guys? We did every single one of these systems. Remember? Good. So remember when I tell you that the learning process of the coding and the medical terminology is repetitious. It's repetitious. So we have language of medicine, mental, behavioral health, and neurodevelopment disorders. Didn't we just do psych? So psych, you're going to come back here. I want you to also combine it with 11 because of the GPL, GLC, whatever drugs, the diet drugs. So us doing this again is complicit with the language of medicine book. So I just want you to see how, in order for you to master the coding, you must do the medical terminology. Didn't we do skin? We did integumentary right here. Chapter 12, diseases of the skin, subcutaneous tissue. The language of medicine, we learned descriptions of skin. We learned different types of skin, right? We talked about different things that involve the skin, subcutaneous skin, the layers of the skin. Now we're going to talk about diseases of the skin. So if we were in a classroom, I would have my students open their language of medicine book to integumentary, to the skin. Then I would have them open their ICD-10 to what, y'all? To the skin. Well, Ms. Lambert, then I would have them open up their CPT book to the skin. Because I have to show you how the ICD-10, the CPT, and the language of medicine is all complicit and is teaching you the same thing. It's just giving you different levels. So now that you've done the language of medicine, you know what to expect. Look, from chapter 12. Now you see what type of diseases you can get from the skin. The language of medicine, you saw what the skin entitled, what involves the skin. Okay? So, chapter 13, disease of musculoskeletal system and connective tissue. See? Same thing. Chapter 14, disease of genitourinary system, NOO and 99. Okay, we did this in the kiddie era, right? I'm telling you, we're gonna have so much fun with this. But generally, our class can only be an hour long. But the things that I'm telling you, I'm expecting you to expand. Okay. So again, you remember language of medicine? We did female. Look, chapter 15, pregnancy, childbirth, and the perineum 00. Go look at that code 2098. You can go look at that section. I want y'all to be masters in this section, pregnancy and childbirth, because when you get to coding, I'm not gonna lie, this was one of my toughies right here. But the pregnancy section, I want y'all to master that. You're going to go with the diagnosis. See, I need 2 books up. I'm going to put 2 books up. I need 2 books up. I got to open another coding book. Hold on. Because I want to show y'all that section. I want to show you that section in those diagnosis codes. And the reason being, because a lot of them look alike. So I really want to go to the tabular list. I want to go to the tabular list, and then I want to go right here. So I'm going to the tabular list. The tabular list is where you're going to see your list of codes in the back. That's where you're going to justify your codes from, okay? Okay, so I'm going to share my screen right here. So this I want y'all to see. Now I have a different book open, and because I want to keep this book open, I'm opening this book so I can show you. How come I can't do it? Oh, wait, hold on. Share screen. All right, so this section, as a matter of fact, this is homework for y'all tonight. All right, so this is homework. So I want y'all to, this is what we were just talking about. This is just a different book. That one is AMA, this one is book. So in this book, you see how, now this is the coding. This is how the books are going to be. Okay, this is just a different coding book, that's all. And mine is the teacher's version, so it'll look a little funkier than the regular books book. But this is homework for y'all. So chapter 15 in here, in this book, Pregnancy and Childbirth, I want y'all to go over this. Okay, just read it. Just read it. Just kind of get used to what you see. Let me get in there. Where is it? Just kind of get used to what you see. Okay, this is chapter 15. Okay, pregnancy and childbirth and the perineum. Okay. General rules for obstetrics cases. Now listen, maybe you will go into obstetrician. Maybe you will do this type of coding. Okay. You guys remember when I said depending on what type of specialty you go in or what type of specialty you want to do, if you only do OBGYN, okay, it's going to limit you to only working for an OBGYN. So that's why we like the CPC. You learn all of the sections. Okay, so I got to put this back up for you stuff with it. So this is giving you the guidelines, and there will be guidelines at the beginning of every chapter. Okay, yes, I want you to read this. This is literally telling you how to code. Okay, this is literally telling you how to code. Okay, chapter 15 codes used only on the maternal record. Chapter 15 codes are to be used only on the maternal record, never on the record of the newborn. Why do you think? What's maternal? The mother. The mother. Final characters for trimester. I want you to read all of this. Okay. Now, I'm only showing you in here because I don't want to change my page from over there. But in the same ICD-10 book, depending on which one you have, you may have a different one. So in this book is chapter 15. We're gonna backtrack. Let me show you the other one. This is the one you more than likely have, your AMA book. Okay. So in this book, look, I'm just showing you because all books, they teach you the same thing. Look. So I want you to go ahead. If I click this, it's going to take me to this. So I can click it, it'll be okay. Because I know you guys probably read this book. This is the same thing. It's just a different book. You can use whatever coding book you want to take your CPC. I recommend the AAPC book because AAPC is giving that test and they have made that book from their own layout of their book. Even though, as you can see, the book is the same as this one. So again, chapter 15 is what you guys are going to be working on. So in this book, remember I told you, so the one we just came from is, if you click on here, it should take you where it should be. See, the link is selected is not available in the current sample. So it won't give it to you in the sample because the sample doesn't go that far. So that's why it doesn't give it to you in the sample. But when you get your book, you should be able to click and go as far as you want to. But this book is going to be limited. It probably doesn't go all the way up to chapter 15. Okay. But in this one, let me show you. Stop the share. So I'm going to show you in my book, because in the Kindle, it doesn't go that far. So it doesn't give you free pages up to that far. But this is my book. And this is what you're going to be studying. So this is going to be your homework tonight. So tonight, I want you to do this guideline. And in your guidelines, this is there. It's just, the whole thing is not there. It just shows you a minimal amount in the regular guidelines. This is actually in your chapter 15 of your ICD-10 book. Okay. Supervision of high risk episodes when no delivery occurs, when delivery occurs, pre-existing hypertension, and they're telling you which codes where you're going to stay in. Fetal conditions affecting the management of the mother, codes from category 035 and 036. And again, most of the coding books, well, they all have the same thing in them. Okay, as long as they're ICD-10-CM. Okay, so I want you to make sure that you get these guidelines in here, because when you read your guidelines from the beginning, it's not going to give you the whole thing. You have to go into the book and give you more. The sample of this ICD-10 that they have in Kindle probably doesn't go that far. Let's go in there. Let's go in there and take a look, because if you guys are using that one, all you're supposed to be on is the guidelines. I'm just trying to see how far you can go in this book. We know that we know in the CPT book, you can only go up to musculoskeletal system in the CPT book. In the free Kindle version, you can only go up to musculoskeletal system. So we don't know how far you can go in this book. Let me find out right now. Well, this is giving me. Well, how come it's giving me M? I think it's only M. Let me see. That's Q. All right, so we. No, this is not what I want. I want. Let's see. If it's giving you all of the index, it should be giving you all of the other piece. Yeah, no. So wait a minute. It stopped right here. Hold on. Can you guys see this? See what I'm doing? Okay, good. See? Well, I'll tell you what. It sure is giving me most of the index. So why isn't it letting us take us to that chapter? Okay, so let's see. So let's give us the index. Give us in there. All right, so I see what it's doing. So it's giving us the guidelines, and it's only giving us most of the index. Like if you were looking for a limb or something, that's what I was trying to see if they had in here. So it's kind of this one kind of limits you, but for us to be doing it with the guidelines, that's fine. But you're gonna definitely have to get your book. We'll definitely have to get your book. Okay, so let me see where we was at. We're up here. Let's see if we can get back to where we were. But again, the information in this book is crucial. Okay, so let me see if it let me click right here. Let me see. I'm trying to see. See, it's only going to take me to yeah. So it doesn't. It won't take us all the way up there. Man. All right, so that's okay. But again, right here is even showing you what's actually in there. So I'm not gonna move forward to get to that. I'm still gonna go back to where we was at. Okay, so the sample is not going to give you everything that we need. Of course not. I was hoping that it would give us more of the tabular list, and not just some of what's in the index. So definitely get your book, okay? So, but we are still right here, and I still, we can go over this. So that's 15. So your homework for those of you who do have your book is 15. Okay, your summary is also from 15. Okay, so 16, certain conditions originate in the peritoneal period. So yes, you are going to go over that. In pages as we move forward, it's description. So you're gonna need your own ICD-10 book. Okay, you could get this one ebook. That's fine if you want to. I have the two books up. Okay, I have the two books up because the other one lets me go further. That's my regular teacher's one. This one will not let me go that further. So this is what you will be learning. Okay, we are on chapter 17, congenital congenital malformations. I can't even read today. Deformations and chromosomal abnormalities. Oh, that's the Q code. Okay, go to Q00-Q99. Okay, chapter 18, signs, symptoms, and abnormal clinical laboratory findings, not elsewhere classifiable. We will read about that. That's abnormal stuff that the provider may not be able to identify. Okay, may not be able to identify, and it's going to tell you what codes that you should be using. Chapter 19, injury, poisoning, and certain other consequences of external causes. Accident, hit by car, snake bite, burnt in a house. That's what they're coding for that. That's what they're talking about. Not normal sick codes, okay? Chapter 20, external causes of morbidity, death, external causes of death. Okay. Chapter 21, factors influencing health status and contact with health services, medicine, OBGYN, regular treatments, things like that. Chapter 22, codes for special purposes. Okay. That's anything different, anything that's not out of the ordinary from 1 to 21. Okay. It's going to be U00 to U85. Okay, so these are your appendixes. So we can't open it from here. And I'm only using this book because some of you might be starting with this book. So I'm going to actually move over and I'm going to use my book, okay? Because there are some places that I need to show you that I can't seem to get in on the other one. But, okay, so we're just backtracking. This is your homework. Those of you who have your book, you're on chapter 15, pregnancy and childbirth, okay? pregnancy and childbirth. Now, we just finished going through some of the guidelines, and I decided to go ahead and switch over to this book, just pretty much showing you that the books are the same. Okay, let's go here. And this is pretty much what we were just talking about. Some of you might even have the book version, but some of it is different. You see how this one kind of starts with the illustrations? I'm just kind of moving down to get to where we were. Okay, so I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Okay, so this is where we were. We were at chapter 3. Okay, in the ICD-10 index to diseases and injury, table of neoplasms, table of drugs, chemicals, external cause, and injuries. We just pretty much read some of. Let me share my screen. Some of what we were looking at. Okay, what's wrong with this? Okay, so this is where I'm at right now. And we did the first part for index to diseases and injuries. It's pretty much, we didn't get to the neoplasm part. The basis of it was to really, for me to show you how you're going to navigate through this book. How you're going to navigate through this book. So when you do get your book, I want you to, it's out here. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down. When you do get your book, this is what you're going to go over. And this is pretty much your front part in the guidelines. Okay. So let me snap down. I'm trying to get a quick fix and open it. Not you got to go through each one and open it. Okay, so ICD-10-CM index to diseases and injuries. So we just went over what was actually going to be in here, right? And now they're just pretty much showing you what you're going to be looking for. So remember the codes that we were looking for. When we went to the tabular list and you see all those little codes in there. Can you see my screen? Hold on. We see all those little codes in there. They wasn't giving us what was in the index. It was giving us more or less what was in the tabular list. But this book just shows you more. But the other book is the one I want you to get. Okay? So let me just take this down. In the other book, it would be the same type of format. It's just a different brand of book. It's the same type of format. It might have a couple of little different things as far as informational purposes, but nothing to do with the codes. The codes will not change. Those codes are the same as the codes that's in the book that I just showed you. Okay, so don't get scared of it. Okay, so I'm just trying to show you both of those books in case you have that. You're not going to have that one because that's the teacher's version. But you're going to have this one that we're going to look at right now, that the one I was showing you from the Kindle. And you can even buy your book from Kindle. Okay, so this is what we just went over. I'm going to drop this up here. This is what we just went over. Now, this is it. This is ICD-10. And this is how you take a look at this. If you got your code books, yeah, go ahead and look at those codes. Okay. Okay, so in appendices, you can also look at these as well. So I can't open this because it will not let me open it. But again, you can look at these as well, but I'm not going to be focusing on them just yet. What I want you to focus on are these chapters right here. Okay. This should also have an in-depth, yeah, it does. See, you see how this has an in-depth, we're not doing the appendices yet. Okay, that's going to be after this. Okay. It's going to be after this. So I don't want y'all to aggravate yourself with that. Okay, so hold on. So you see the appendixes? Not yet. I want y'all to focus here. That's what I want you to focus on. Okay. So chapter 3, and this is just telling you what's in this chapter. Okay. Now, some of them have been combined. That's why you don't see 1 and 2. Okay, you remember we saw the 1 and the 2. Okay, good. So some of that, you see how this is a combined diseases of the blood and blood forming organisms and certain disorders involving the immune mechanism. Now, they're giving you examples of what you're going to be reading about. Okay, and what type of diagnosis is going to be in there. So you're going to read about codes that have diagnoses that involve red blood cells, white blood cells, platelet, and coagulation. I'm talking about stuff like blood thinner. things like that. People who need to take blood thinner and blood clots, the patient has a blood clot XYZ, they're going to go there and try to find a code that's going to match that patient. Okay. So here, I didn't finish. Spleen, anatomical location, external structures, spleen, interior structures. So, the spleen is very important. You'll already know that. That's what most of your blood is cleaned and circulated. Okay, so 4, endocrine, nutritional, and metabolic diseases. We did that. That's the E codes. That's diabetes. That's your diabetes section right there. Endocrine system, thyroid. But you see how this is combined. Okay, good. So thyroid, pancreas, thyroid, and parathyroid glands. This is what they're going to be talking about in here. So people who have diseases involving this is what's in this section. Okay. Chapter 6, disease of the nervous system. Okay, people who have these diseases will be given these types of diagnosis. You see what I'm saying? When you get your book, you click on this, or it will be in more in depth. You will see this in the back of your book, just like the other book. I'll go back to that one in a second, but I want to make sure that you're clear on this. This is going to identify what's wrong with the patient. So if we are in chapter 6, disease of the nervous system, your category codes will be G00 through G99. Once that code changes, it'll be a different disease. Okay, so we're talking about the brain, of course. Remember we went over that in language of medicine, right? Yeah, did I make that class for 140? Uh-oh. So we haven't class right after this, Joe. We haven't class right after this. This is really just an extended version of the class, but this is still the guidelines. So your guidelines will be 3 classes. The last one is the one right after this. Okay. So again, diseases of the nervous system. We already know because we just went over nervous system, right? Cranial nerves in the language of medicine, your medical terminology. I turned the air off. You all know I should have kept that air on. Peripheral nervous system, spinal cord, nerve cells, same thing. Okay, remember I said everything that you're going to learn in CPT category learning, ICD-10, language of medicine, is all repetitious. It's all wrapped up, okay? And this, what we just went over, is just giving you detail of what type of diseases will be in there, what type of issues are in there. Diseases of eye at the next H00 through H59, we just saw that, but now it's telling you what's in there, okay? Disease of the ear and mastoid, now it's telling you what the ear anatomy, that's pretty much all you want to see in it. Okay, disease of the circulatory system, you see, it's breaking down to you, and you know there's going to be a lot in here. Okay, there's going to be a lot of codes in there. You can see that it's a very big section. Okay, I ain't going to read the whole thing because you already know. But anyway, we're going to be done with that. And again, same thing. Chapter 15, pregnancy and childbirth. That's our homework for tonight. Peritoneum, term pregnancy, yes, on your test. And there's going to be also open and closed questions on this, okay? Twins, gestation, what's the codes for that? They have aborting codes in there. A couple of people had a couple of that on their test. But anyway, I want you to make sure you know chapter 14, disease of genitourinary system, male and female. Okay. Injury and poisoning, remember we talked about that. Consequences of injury and poisoning, types of fractures, Salter-Havertz fractures. Oh my goodness, that's going to be something when we get ready to do it. All right. I'm just kind of breezing through that first part and just kind of going over because we're getting ready to do class again. I got 8 minutes. So, and don't leave. If I'm like 2 or 3 minutes late, y'all come back. All right. I'm just taking a break, getting some water or whatever, and coming right back. Okay. So now we up to the guidelines. Okay. Which you guys should have already read. Okay. You guys should have already read. Okay, thank you so much. Now, remember, we said we're going to read this 3 times. And you see this? This is giving you the classification definition of the ICD-10. It's merely telling you about the ICD-10. Why, Ms. Lambert? Because you may have that on your test. And you do need to know the history of ICD-10 and where it came from. We already ran over that, so you know I'm not going to go over that again. The first part is what I want to go over in this classroom. Okay, and then I'm just going to kind of shoot through. So in the guidelines, this is so important. I know I'm not going to do it again because y'all already did it. That was in the last class. This is so important. This is what you are reading. Okay, this is what you're reading. What is a conversion table? What's new for 2025? The official NCHS ICD-10-CM classification includes 3 main sections. You've already read that. 10 steps to correct coding, right? You've already read that. I know you read this. This is crucial. What I hope you. Wait, let me just. I gotta look at this quick. Let me put this up here so y'all can see. So this you should have read already. This you should have read already. Okay. In your next phase, what we just went over is what I want you to go through. You remember I said I want you to go through the book page by page. You're not going to be able to go through the book page by page just yet. You've got to get familiar with the book first. Okay. This is part of you getting familiar. Did we miss a couple of something up here? No, because y'all already did this conversion table, ICD-10, index to diseases. Remember, we were just looking at the index to diseases, right? The index tells us what the diseases are, right? What type of injury, bone fall. The neoplasm table. Okay, you're going to read about that. Okay, make sure you have your book. This is a part of the guidelines. Okay, external causes of diseases, table of drugs. Yes, there's a table of drugs in there. So when you're reading your guidelines, I want you to go look at those things that you're reading about. Okay, the word with or in should be interpreted to mean associated with or due to. Yeah, those of y'all who was in my class, I know y'all finished with school, and I don't know, it was about 10 years ago. Remember when we used to do the due to and the with? What was it? The with and the and? Um, you guys remember when I used to put the due to on the board and the with? Man, we had fun with that. I do it the same way as online. I just don't do it on the board. So of you were in my YTU class, or y'all just started the class, I said, "Hi, Triplet, how are you?" We used to do it on the board, and then I used to do the with and the and the two, the do to. And this is if you have two different codes, and you're putting this code with that, or you saying that code and that. So if you're putting this code and this code, diagnosis codes together, and it says DO1 with DO2 is together. If it's DO1 and 202 or whatever, it's not together. Wait till we get to that part. Like I said, when you guys are learning how to code, in the beginning, it becomes, oh my God. And you know when I get excited, when I see the oh my gods go into, not now, Miss Lambert. Wait, Miss Lambert, let me put it. Y'all be gone. And then I'm like, I feel like, okay, so I'm no longer teaching. You got it, you're gone. That's when you guys get the feeling of, I'm cold struck. Because that makes you different from the billers, from the coders. The billers, they best at what they do. They know how to get that money. They know what tactic they're going to use. You, as the coder, you know what codes you're going for. You know what code is not going to make sense. Okay, so don't sleep on that. Coding is a skill that's going to keep you busy. In here, oh, this is a good example. So again, you guys probably already did this before, because the homework that we did last class, you were supposed to read your guidelines. So I'm pretty sure you saw this. And the M33.90 is derma. I'm not even going to read it. Polymyositis, oitis. Okay, so we got it. Okay, with myopathy. See how it says with? I'm telling you, you guys are going to have a good time with this. Break this word up to dermat, dermatopolyitis. Itis, you already know, is inflammation. Okay, so that's all you have to do is break those words up. I know Ms. Never an expert in spelling all of these words, but we know what they mean. Okay, so again, this is part of the guidelines, and this is actually telling you we're breaking in. Your next class is at 1:40. So I gotta come out. I gotta come out now. When we come back, we're going on to this. And in this portion, because remember the guidelines has to be 3 full classes. In this portion, we're gonna go over what I was just I'm pointing with my finger. We're gonna go over this, okay? Because there's going to be a few more in here. And I want you to see, even though you've already gone over this, I still have to go over with you in class with this, because this is how you're going to start to code. This is how you're going to start to do diagnosis codes. So again, you guys should have already read those guidelines. 51 minutes in, you should have already read the guidelines. So this next class that I'm getting ready to do, now we're going to show you how to use it on paper. We're going to show you how to use it on the 92, how to use it on the 04, UV04 or UB92. So in about 10 minutes, I'll be right back. So right now, have your books. We are up to how to code, how to do diagnostic coding, what the coding is. We're still in your guidelines. It's 3 classes to the guidelines. So you guys have already done it. Okay. So I might flip it to 1:45. Okay. I'm gonna see y'all in a few minutes.